Welcome back, everyone. Well, the hot and relatively dry weather is going to continue not only for Labor Day, but as we head to the next couple of days, we'll talk about that. Plus, at the very latest, out in the tropics here in just a little bit. But first, let's take a look at what we have going on regionally, and really not a lot of storm activity really across the northern Gulf Coast today. All of the showers and storms really staying off into Texas, and really I think that's how it's going to stay as we head into your Labor Day. I don't know, some of you may be off tomorrow, so maybe hitting the pool tomorrow afternoon. It's not going to be all that bad out there, albeit on the hot side. We'll see high temperatures back into the lower and mid 90s. A few passing clouds out there, but rain chances sitting no better than 10%, so hopefully you can get out and enjoy the nicer weather out there if you can. Now, out in the tropics, we are watching 5 areas here. Here's the first one in the Caribbean Sea. Now, chances of development down to around 0%, so not really going to worry about that area. The other 4 are out in the Atlantic or not even off the African coast. Here's the first one right near the island of Bermuda. This will have about a 30% chance to develop in the coming days as it kind of heads close towards the eastern seaboard here, so we'll have to keep an eye on this one, but doesn't look overly impressive at this time. TD number 17 was upgraded this evening. We'll get to that here in a bit. And then 2 other areas close to the African coast. One has a pretty high chance to develop in the next 5 days. So let's get to newly formed tropical depression number 17 tonight. Winds at 35 miles per hour. And the track kind of keeps it stationary over the next day or so and then kind of takes it out close to the central Atlantic. Doesn't do a whole lot with it. Could get a name. The next name would be Paulette. But again, at least at this point, doesn't look overly concerning. So let's track it out here with the GFS model. I showed you the Euro earlier, but you can kind of see it takes TD number 17 and the area behind it kind of out to sea in the coming days. And then that other area off the African coast has a 20% chance to develop at this time, but GFS model picking up on it, a little bit aggressive here, heading over a week's worth of time. So we'll keep an eye on it, but it looks like at this point nothing to be overly worried about, but of course anything crossing the Atlantic basin this time of year we certainly have to keep an eye on, and of course the pattern can certainly change a little bit. Now, closer to home, notice the GFS and the Euro model today not picking up on any sort of frontal boundary moving through the area late this week into the weekend. So that's why I kind of said yesterday, let's get through the weekend, let's get to Monday, because I think that's when we'll have a better handle on the forecast. But clearly keeping all the colder temperatures well off to our west, so it looks like at least at this point we may have to wait a few more weeks before we get our true first cold front of the season. But the compromise here, temperatures tonight into tomorrow morning, not all that bad, sitting in the upper 60s here north of the interstate, waking up tomorrow morning close to 70 degrees right along the interstate, and along the coastal parishes, again, pretty much similar story, right around 70 degrees, maybe a little bit warmer toward Cameron, but all in all, not going to be a bad night tonight. Now for tomorrow, your Labor Day, high temperatures back into the lower and mid 90s, and then that less than 10% on the rain chances tomorrow afternoon. So all in all, not looking too bad out there for your Labor Day. Next 5 days, again, pretty confident through the forecast here, at least through Thursday, but looking at the upper level pattern data today doesn't suggest to me that we'll see any sort of frontal passage, so high temperatures back into the lower 90s, unfortunately. And then it does appear that we'll kind of get into more of an unsettled weather pattern heading into next weekend and at least through the first parts of next week. That'll do it for weather. We have much more coming up right after the break.